This is the new Freewell V2 2-in-1 circular polarizer variable ND filter kit. So, how does it work and what's it good for? Find out next. Just a quick shout out to the team at Freewell Filters for sending me out this V2 filter kit to test and review, but I'm not getting paid by Freewell to do this review, so any sort of findings or opinions I've got of this product are mine alone. When it comes to filters, photographers more often than not have had to stack filters when photographing things like waterfalls, landscapes, and more. To achieve certain effects, they'd have to stack circular polarizers and NDs together. This can be a little time consuming and a little bit fiddly. Plus, when you stack filters, you do run the possibility of creating vignetting, which you'll have to then fix in post-processing. This Freewell V2 2-in-1 circular polarizer and variable ND filter kit can help photographers and videographers achieve effects by simply using this one setup. But before I go too much into that, let's go and check out exactly what you get in the box. Opening the box, you get a clip to help attach the filter kit to your camera bag or tripod, manual and cleaning cloth. The V2 comes in this well-made box, and on the rear you have an attachment clip. You have both front and rear magnetic lens caps, so you can transport the V2 independently without running the risk of damage or scratches to the glass on either side. Looking at the filter, it feels nicely made and the filters turn smoothly and firmly, but not too firm. So hang on, what are these holes for? Ah, they're for little screws to turn the circular polarizer and lock it into place. Well, since making this video, Freewell have now changed their packaging, and these little screws that help turn the circular polarizer and lock it into place will now be attached to the filter when it's shipped. But if they're not on the filter, then double check the filter box to make sure they're not trapped inside somewhere. So how does this Freewell V2 circular polarizer and variable ND 2-in-1 filter kit work? Well, I had the idea that I was going to take this out to a waterfall, but we've had a pretty bad drought here where I live, so there's hardly any waterfalls flowing. So I thought what I will do is I'm just going to show you how to set this up on the camera here in the studio, because it's much easier and much quieter and controlled, because I can set up cameras here and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm doing. So let's begin with the 82mm ring. This is the magnetic ring that you attach to your lens. I've got the 14 to 30mm f4S lens. I've got this on my Nikon Z7. I'm just going to screw that in here. This is the 82mm filter thread. Okay, so now we're set up to attach the filter system. Now the great thing I love about this 2-in-1 circular polarizer and variable ND is you'll see on the front there's a little ring. Now in the past, I've had magnetic filter caps to go onto the front of the filters, and they've been a real pain to try and get off. I've tried to get in the side and you've kind of like got to get your fingernail in and pry it out. Freewell were pretty clever, and what they've done is they've put a little pull ring just here. You can see that. You now just... So you'll notice this filter has both front and rear lens caps. This is really good for when you're traveling with this filter in your camera bag and it's away from the camera. So this protects the filter glass from getting any sort of damage or scratches on either the front or back. So to begin with, we're just going to take off the rear lens cap. I'm just going to put it onto the front of the Z7 there. Now I don't have to talk condescendingly to you guys in terms of, you already know what a circular polarizer does. It basically cuts through glare on your water and off your rocks and makes your sky all nice deep blue, and it can also make your colors really pop. So on the rear section of this filter, when you've got your shot, you just line it up, you adjust your circular polarizer to a position, you then lock it off with these little screws. Once that's locked into place, on the front of the filter, you can then adjust your ND setting. So you've got a setting from ND3 all the way through to 7. These are hard stops going from 3 through to 4, through to 5, 6, and 7. I actually like the way Freewell has thought this out, because I have used other circular polarizer and variable ND 2-in-1 filters before, and it's the other way around. They have their circular polarizer on the front with the variable ND at the back, whereas this is the other way around. The circular polarizer is on the back side and your variable ND is on the front. I would prefer the variable ND on the front, because when I was using the other one, I would sometimes bump the circular polarizer and it would go all out of whack. Whereas at least with this one, I can lock that circular polarizer in place with these little screws, then adjust to what level variable ND I want. So I think videographers will get a lot of use out of this Freewell V2 filter kit. And the reason for that is because when they're trying to achieve the 180-degree shutter rule, this filter kit really comes into its own. Let me just put up an example for you. This is out in my bird garden. I'm shooting at 1/50th of a second because my project is set at 25 frames per second in post-processing. I'm shooting at f4. This is wide open on the lens, as well as an ISO of 100. Now, if I take this filter off, you'll see, yeah, look at that. It's like Bright City. When you put this filter back on, you'll see that it cuts through the glare with the circular polarizer. I then adjust the ND on the front to 4. That drops it down to this really perfect type of exposure. And you'll notice, have a look at the colors. This is straight out of the camera. Those colors are very true to life and they're very vibrant. One of the great features with this V2 circular polarizer and variable ND is that you can now stack other filters that Freewell will be offering onto the front. Freewell supplied me with this quarter diffusion glow mist filter to try out on the front of this kit. Now, it's very easy to use, and this is what makes this kit very unique, in that you can stack these filters magnetically onto the front. It's this quick. Now, there was one thing that I picked up when I was using this glow mist filter. At 14 millimeters, I was getting a little bit of vignetting in stills, but I wasn't getting it in video. In the stills, if I just pushed in something like 2 millimeters into 16 millimeters, that got rid of that vignetting in the corners very easily. This filter will give you a subtle glow, very similar to an Orton effect on things like landscapes, waterfalls, even people. But just to clarify, these filters are sold separately to the V2 filter kit. Now, I have a feeling I'm going to get asked this question from a lot of you out there, so I'm going to head you off at the pass before you go into the comments. You're going to ask me, can I just use the circular polarizer by itself without introducing any sort of ND? The answer is no, you can't. You have to use some form of ND with the circular polarizer with this filter kit. Speaking from a landscape photography perspective here, I can see this Freewell V2 filter kit getting a lot of good use around things like waterfalls, even seascapes. Being able to cut through the glare on water or rocks with the circular polarizer and then simply dial in some ND to slow your shutter speed down is a real bonus. You can achieve long exposures or hints of movement in the water. On my Nikon 14 to 30mm Z mount lens at 14mm, I didn't get any vignetting using the V2. I did, however, get some vignetting at 14mm when I used it in conjunction with the optional quarter diffusion glow mist filter. But as I mentioned, simply zooming into 16mm got rid of that. In my test shots in both stills and video, the colors I found were very good from this filter kit, and as my examples show, they were very true to life. Videographers will also get a lot of benefit from using this V2 kit to cut through glare on windows, deepen sky color, and get the right shutter speed for optimizing video performance in post-processing using the 180-degree shutter rule. For more information on this Freewell V2 circular polarizer variable ND 2-in-1 filter kit, I've left you some links in the video description box below. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you so much for watching. Never stop creating, and I'll see you next time.